Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Peggy Sundstrom, and I'm the lead faculty member for the PhD program in Organizational Development and Leadership at the Forbes School of Business and Technology. I will be your host for this session, which is entitled Integrating John Maxwell's DNA at the Course and Program Level. This presentation is the fourth and last in a series called Course Design with Career in Mind. And immediately following this presentation, I'll be hosting a panel presentation with the presenters from all four of our individual presentations. So I hope you will join us for that panel presentation as well. It's scheduled to start at noon Pacific time, right after this presentation. To our audience members, your microphones are muted for this presentation, but the chat function is available to you to post questions and comments. And I'll also be posting in the chat a link to a session feedback survey. So please take a couple minutes to fill that out. Now I'm pleased to introduce you to our presenters, Dr. Ron Beach and Dr. Bill Davis, both from the Forbes School of Business and Technology. The title of their presentation, Integrating John Maxwell's DNA at the Course and Program Level. Gentlemen, the stage is yours.
Oh, thank you. Let me share my screen here. And I want to welcome everybody. This is a great opportunity for Bill and I to share some of our experiences that we've learned in the Maxwell program. Now, this is something a little different. And, actually, Bill and I come from different backgrounds. Bill has executive marketing experience with Pepsi. And I come from an international operations management with Hitachi and Western Digital. But yet, we both come in one of our careers to where we found with over 40 years combined teaching experience that the John Maxwell, what we call DNA, was actually the best vehicle for us to kind of help our students how to get the NACE elements, to help them be professional in their careers. So we're just going to present some of our ideas and some of the methodology that we have found. And so it's essentially, who's John Maxwell? You think about it, everybody knows the name, but they really don't know who John Maxwell really is. John Maxwell, he's written over 100 books. In the world, he's considered the foremost expert in leadership and business. And I'll tell you, it's a phenomenal. He's got an organization where they've taught all around the world. And Bill and I have gone to their certification program and to his conferences. And I can't even equate to what it's like to be in this environment where you're with people from all around the world who come to these conferences, Africa, Asia, United States, Canada, Europe. It's just the blending of ideas to train over 5 million leaders in this organization. It just marked it to where it kind of gave us a methodology that worked for us. We know that one of the main criteria for advancement and promotion is communications. But that's also a challenge, not just for us, but for our students and our instructors. Now, I always I should say there's a story that I really like. It's about being a fleet trainer. Think about our students come to us with they're fleas, they're in here, and they're trying to get out, and there's a lid, there's restrictions. There's barriers, and they're so used to hitting the barriers, they quit trying. And so, that's when they come to us, and we're trying to get them to know that the barrier is no longer there, but now they've got all these different social, economic, family pressures that says you can't be successful, or they're not able to do it. But this is our way of actually going, they can be successful, they can reach their goals.
Hey, I just wanted to say one thing that throughout my entire career, I've always thought about the word alignment and aligning to a company's leadership strategy, goals, to their systems, to their structure, to their culture, and operating in there and being committed and dedicated. And the word values to me, it means, something that's meaningful and desirable, and they do drive the organization. So Ashford University's values, equity, empowerment, quality, and ingenuity, guidance, But today we're going to talk a little bit about these John Maxwell values. They're nothing outside of, they're not really different. There's things you've seen, but it's a matter of bringing them to life because they do work. And I want to welcome one of my JMT good friends is out in the audience, Dr. Lou Diaz. He's attending from Chico, California today. Welcome, Lou. And I met him at the International Conference in Orlando, Florida in 2019. There were over 4,000 people in attendance. Like Ron said, every country. And we talked about bridging the gap. I mean, we were talking to people from Germany, people from Asia, people from Mexico. I mean, everybody was there. And it was an exciting time. You could just feel it. And it wasn't all about hyperbole and all that. It was about learning how to speak, how to coach, how to train. Good tips that, and I'm going to use the word enhance my skills and abilities. And I really loved it. So it was a wonderful experience. But today I just want to talk about 3 of these values that I told Ron I would cover. And one is modeling consistency. And John Maxwell says, remain consistent in character, your values, and your attitude, acting in a manner that's exemplary for others. You know, I like to call that, when you take it down to the real world, you know, talk the walk and walk the talk. Remember, they're going to be watching more how you walk it than you talk it. Apply how you learn. Be a good role model. Set a good example. But the key is be consistent. You know, Dr. Laura Palmer Noon says here about attitudes. Are you ready? She says, here's 3 attributes for success. She says, attitude. Now, to me, I consider my attitude my greatest asset. And when I take that here in this model and I add in values, and then I maintain my ethics, a system code of conduct based on legal and moral duties and obligations, and I fuse all that together as a leader, I believe I'm going to make a positive impact on outcomes. I'm going to influence positive outcomes. I'm going to influence and impact positive, meaningful results. And that's why I'm here in a classroom, in teams, and whatever you call it. But to me, these values have enhanced me. So modeling consistency is one of them. And you can do that in a classroom just by being consistent. One of the things I enjoy about today's TLC, everybody's positive. Everybody is engaged. I am just loving what I'm seeing here today. And you can feel my passion and enthusiasm, hopefully, because it's very important. But model consistency. Next slide, Ron. The next one is, you know, when you look at values, value people, add value, and value people, make a contribution. And when you look at this, show importance, worth, and a high regard for each person you meet on a daily basis. You know, always stay positive and be grateful for everyone's contributions on a team. It's what their reputations are made of. So the more we talk the walk, walk the talk, model consistency, make a good contribution to people, and we really value people, because that's why we're here. It's an honor and a pleasure. It's to have this calling to be able to enhance someone's education, to make them better, to move them forward, to pay it forward. I love lifelong learning, and I also love teaching, service, and scholarship. Since I started my career here, I've always lived in the faculty handbook. Put forth high quality, innovative, and caring into teaching, into service, inside, outside the university, into scholarship under the Boyer's model. When you do that, you're adding value. And when you value people, it makes it even that much better. Next slide, please. And finally, Ron, I think that's the same one I just covered.
There you go.
There we go. Exceed expectations. You know, I'm just going to use this example from my PepsiCo days. One of the things I put in every strategic plan was customer service and caring. I believe in that. High quality. Keep it up here, because if competition goes somewhere and does it, and they say, yeah, they did this for us. But we wanted them to remember us. It was a wow. We not only took care of the situation, we serviced it completely, thoroughly. We made an impact. We exceeded expectations, and we did it with a smile, and we did it consistently because we knew that's what we do. So John Maxwell says, always go the extra mile in your presentation, interaction, and delivery, living and leading with an assurance of success. Now, that's pretty relative to what we do. And these values are easy to incorporate into our own style, our own teaching mix, and just really make an impact on learning, you know, because that's why we're here, to further student learning. And I just want to make one comment before I end my particular section of the slides here. Dr. Ron Beach is an absolute pleasure to work with. We have teamed together in the BAVA program. Ron, thank you for all the value you've added to me. And I'd like to say that, you know, collectively, we made an impact. We did some positive things. So Ron exceeded expectations coaching and leading me. And Ron also exceeded some expectations here with this wonderful presentation, the artwork, putting all this together. So Ron, that's my part. The rest is yours.
I get the fun part. Actually putting this together has been fun because Bill and I both really enjoy what we're doing in the classroom. We enjoy watching the students get past that barrier, you know, and you're going through, how do we help them grow every day? You know, how do we help them not only grow themselves, but their families, their environments, their activities. And this is kind of new for a lot of people, and especially right now with COVID-19. You know, there's a lot of stress. They're going, you know, they're kind of narrowing down their contacts and activities. So how we help them to kind of be more personal going through. And they have a lot they bring to the table. Sometimes we just have to show them that they do. Now, when we talk about sharing, preparing, the whole presentation by all the preceding groups that we're talking about is how to give people the tools to be successful, how to help them achieve their dreams of going through. The vast majority of our students, you know, they're first-time college students. You know, Bill and I were both late bloomers to academia. I went back to school at 40 for my bachelor's. And so it's, you know, going through and saying, I can't believe I can actually get a college degree. I'm the first in my family to even graduate high school. Bill's good. Look at what Bill's accomplished in his career. So we're trying to get that feeling across to the students to say, we can do it, you can do it. Now, let me go through is, you know, I have what I call virtual nuggets, how to put these out. It's also out to the instructors, different tools they can use in their classroom. Going through, and there's a lot of different activities going through. So how do you go about and share it? How do you get them to share that leadership goals and objectives? I know I'm going to run out of time, but I just, this is just fun. I just love this stuff. You know, live intentionally. We're talking about being, you know, we have a lot of gifts, values, knowledge. Every student that comes in that classroom has something they're bringing to the table. They have gifts. They don't realize it, right? And so it's the old adage, you can't see the forest for the tree. So the challenge for us is to help them to use their gifts to kind of help other people. Now, when we talk about servant leadership styles, you know, we have, you know, transactional, which is what we use in the classroom. You write the post, I give you points, right? And in the job, you work 40 hours, I'll give you a paycheck, right? Transformational are the change leaders, but servant leadership is how to really help that other person be successful first. They're the concentration, how to make them the priority. And that's what we're doing in the classroom. And that's why I think some of our programs are so valuable. And when we talk about lifting others, this is where, like Bill was talking about, how to help others be successful, how to, not just ourselves, but their families, their environments, their cultures, their activities. And, you know, you have to have a corporate ownership, cultural ownership of being part of an overall group. That is what makes organizations successful. You take care of the company by taking care of the people. You take care of the people by taking care of the company. So there's a relationship. So how do you help people to be engaged? How do you help them to be motivated? How do you help them to be an influence? Now, I also use this with instructors, because how do we help them be motivated? You know, we spend, you know, it can be pretty lonely out there in the virtual world, you know, teaching these classes. I love to call to an instructor on the phone and say, John, I saw what you were doing. I like that video you put in the classroom. That's fantastic. What you acknowledge, you see more of. It's the same in the classroom. And this is where one of my favorites is. I'm a real strong believer, and Bill is too, of having that positive attitude. How do you put it in the classroom? How do you get the person to agree, say you use it in your everyday life? The positive attitude makes so much things, even the rough times, makes them so much easier. Okay? And so how to be optimistic. And we do this with our postings to the students. They may have, you go through and say, you hit on a good point, right? And I really like where you're going, or we may want to help them take an idea a little further. Is how to help them beyond what their own perceived expectations. And that is where we demonstrate the positive attitude. And I concentrate on it in the discussion postings, in the feedback. You acknowledge what you want to see more of. Now, remember, a lot of people come to the courses with their own barriers. Remember the flea trainer. And so how do we help them get past it? You help them by showing they are good and they do have value and they can be successful. That is where I think the biggest activity we do. And then we talk about nurturing the transformation, how to come along and to help them really change the environment, change their careers, change their activities. And that's what we're doing. All these courses, everything we teach them is how to have the tools to change our future. How to take that ownership. They want to start a company or they want to become a CEO. Why not? Okay. And we have to show them they can make that knowledge. They can make that transformation. They can do the change. Can you think of a better time where we want some change? Well, when you had COVID-19, look at everything that's going on right now. Just a few months ago, who would have thought life would have been the way it is? And so how to nurture transformation, working from home, remotely, going to school online. Now you're having to share computer systems with your husband, your kids, your schools, your spouses. All this is change. It's the new norm, and it's going to be coming through. So how to nurture it, how to kind of go along and identify with it. Now, the room for faith. Now there is, like we talked about with our NACE, when we talk about worth ethics. And really talking about faith is more than just religion. It's your feeling of self-worth, your feeling of honesty, cultural support in the systems, your work ethics, right? And this goes along with everything that we try to work with, saying here's the due date for an assignment, or here's the expectation of when you're going to be back, and we give them honest feedback. Right? And we help them to say the work ethic is to continue to improve. That is where all the fun comes in.
And Ron, I would just like to say that, faith in yourself, faith in the future, all of those things, that you can do this, a can-do attitude, having that will-do attitude, that yes, I can do this, I'm focused. And I think, Ron, of anybody, you do that so well. I've seen your EOCSs, we share them. It's a process you have in place, and we talk about them. And I know that all of that means a lot to me, as your colleague and friend, that I see firsthand how you nurture students, how you move them through a learning continuum, how you encourage them. And I just think, we all do. I mean, we're very well prepared for today, thanks to Peggy and her coaching and nurturing us through this whole development process for the panel, as well as TLC. So preparation, nurturing them and their transformation as they're growing in their learning continuum is so important, and believing in yourself. And Ron, thanks for that slide.
Yeah. I said, can you imagine we actually get paid for doing this stuff? This is fun. Yeah, I won't say I'll do it for free, but I'll accept the paycheck for it. But what's holding us back? What's holding back our students? Technology, communications, loneliness, fear, fear of failure, fear of success. Okay? Fear of trying something and failing because they think that failure is something that's bad, instead of saying that fear of failure is actually part of the growth process. Trust. Now, trust is a two-way sword to whether they trust their instructor or the instructor trusts the students. Does the person at home trust their boss? Does the boss trust the employee? Trust is something that's earned, right? But so many people bring to the table these different items. Loneliness. Like I said, with COVID-19, people had to work remotely, not having the social mechanism. How can we use technology? Bill has a lot of different videos that he's made for folks, and that visual and making that touch to that instructor is what makes that connection. We have what we call water chats, to where I'll have a Zoom meeting and students will come in and we'll talk about anything but school. What's going on in their lives? They need someone to communicate, to make that connection, that loneliness of going through. And I thought initially that just maybe one or two people would show up. I'm surprised how many are hungry. We started a LinkedIn management club so people can get together and communicate and talk and activities. There's over 3,100 members in that club. People are hungry to connect and activities. Right. So Bill, why don't you talk about how we actually take it to the classroom? Because I see Peggy. That means she's giving me the signal.
Yeah, and I'm watching the time too, Peg. So I think we're going to be good for you. I've got 1:52 Central Time on mine. But what I just want to say is so many ways. Build awareness building. I've got these values pinned right up here next to the Ashford values when I teach, and I need a reminder, and I want to motivate someone or inspire them. I might say, you really equipped me for success. Thank you. I appreciate that. Those words are so simple to say, and when said at the right time, they lift. They lead and lift people. And I'll tell you, if you got to meet Lou Diaz, he's a gentleman that I met, Dr. Lou, at the Maxwell thing in April. Oh my goodness, he had us in every group imaginable. We were sitting with all kinds of countries and tables. But that's the thing you want to do, is communicate, connect, bring people in, share those experiences. But that's what you do. Discussion forum, feedback. I've reached out to students myself. I offer Zoom consultation if I see them struggling. I want to make sure they have a meaningful and gratifying learning experience, and I'm using all the tools I can. But keep those values, keep them aware, keep aware how you behave. They're modeling you. They're seeing you. They're mirroring some of your reactions. I don't want them to think failure. I want them to think success, and I want them to know that I'm behind them. And Andrew Clark told me when I started back in 2006, I never forgot this. He said, never forget quality, innovation, and caring. Embrace those three values. And he told me, put quality in everything you do, every interaction, innovate, new and better ways to reach students, and then caring. When you care, they pick up on that, students do, your colleagues do. And it makes for just such a better learning experience and a better learning environment. And I've lived that for 15, 16 years, and it's been just absolutely wonderful. So Ron, why don't you go to the next slide if you want, and then we'll see what we've got here. You've got the values there, and things we've talked about. I think we got you all thinking a little bit about values, desirable, meaningful, NACE competencies. All those things are core values. They mean something to us. We're taking it to our students. Why don't you do the next slide, Ron, and then see what, there you go. If you can close here then.
Well, it's just that we love to connect with people. We like to have an opportunity to help people advance, to share our knowledge, our experiences. And we love to just connect. So connect with us, whether you're talking about faculty or whether you're talking about students. Bill's an author of a book that's out there where he's shared a lot of his knowledge. Stay engaged, it's essential. And just, connect with us going through. Right? And we're really looking forward to seeing everybody next year. Come back again. All right, we'll share some more knowledge. All right, we'll have more fun. Thank you, Peggy.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ron and Bill. You know, as I was sitting here listening, I was really inspired because this felt very personal. Most of us engage in teaching or working with students because we care and we believe that it's contingent upon those who can to help those who need help. And what you reminded me of are a set of values that I can exemplify when I do that. And I'm wondering if you can, just in the couple minutes we have left, can you share an experience where a student, where you've really been able to help a student through this application of caring and
Absolutely. I'd like to share one, Ron, if I could jump in real quick. Friday, this last Friday, one of my students was struggling, really struggling with the 402 course, doing a budget table, afraid of it all, right? I could see it. I knew exactly where she was at. I was there once myself. And I said, let's do a Zoom. But I had to adjust to her because she's struggling a little bit, you know, with the balance. And we hooked up on Friday. And 2 o'clock, you know, for about an hour, showed her the table, talked to her, actually started to do some of the research with her and showed her where to look and made her understand it. Now, how does that relate to these values? I'm equipping her by modeling consistency, role modeling. I am nurturing her, doing this little continuum I'm doing separately outside the classroom. I'm positive. I didn't tell her, oh my goodness, you should not be in this class. I didn't do that. I said, we're going to get through this together, you know, and then she's exceeding expectations. But I truly believe these values have helped me connect with people. I lived with values my whole life: honesty, respect for others, caring, you know, ethics. Values are your core foundation for your success. And you brought up a great point about teaching, Peggy. We're all here because it's an honor to make an impact and do something positive for others. So I hope that helps. It's a recent example.
You know, Peggy, I have one real quick one. I had a student who, she was running for an abusive relationship. And she'd go to like a halfway house and hide out. He'd find her, track her down. She had to go somewhere else. She was constantly moving every other day, trying to do her coursework, trying to stay up, and trying, you know, she looked at the coursework as being, this is my connection. I'm good at what I can do. I can be better than this. And so having to do this outside, don't worry about due dates. Let me work with you. We got her through the course. There's nothing better. I have over 6,000 people connected with me on LinkedIn. And to have somebody come back and say, you know, you were my teacher back 2-3 years ago. Here's what I've done. Here's what you did for me. Boy, that's better than anything you can get out of any degree program.